Michael Nadel was born in the city of Lvov in the year 1918. His grandmother lived in the city of Zokiu, and he never got to meet his grandfather. The marriage between his grandmother and father was a religious marriage, which meant it was not legally validated, so the mother's maiden name gets passed down instead of the father's. Michael's father was a war veteran. His family was a traditional Jewish family. They followed the rules, didn't work on Saturdays, and went to synagogue. At home, he made sure the kitchen was kosher. His mother came from a small town near Lvov. Two of her sisters went to America after World War I, but she decided to stay. Michael had 6 brothers and sisters, and he was the oldest of the 7. His family was homeschooled, and they were taught Hebrew, prayers, and blessing. Michael was born Mos, but he became Michael in the Soviet army. Michael went to a private Hebrew school for 4 years, and then a public school for another 4 years. At school, he was taught the Hebrew alphabet. Michael went to both Cheddar School and elementary school at the same time, but after the 4th grade, he went to public school where he was seen as a very good student, and he was top of the class. On the weekends, Michael and his family would celebrate Shabbat. His mother would make fish and chicken soup. Before the war, Michael was a member of the Jewish scout group, Akiba, and he was also a Zionist. At the age of 15 and 16, Michael began to question God, and he went to synagogue less and less. The war broke out in 1939, and the Germans invaded the city of Lvov. Michael was part of the Jewish scouts who fought against the Germans in what was known as the Battle of Lvov. After 10 days of fighting, they heard the Soviets were coming to aid them. As the Soviets entered the city, many people treated them as saviors because the Germans entering would have been much worse. But after time, many weren't happy, and only the few communists enjoyed the Soviets. On October of 1940, the Soviet army drafted Michael. He had no say and he had to go. The day he was drafted, Michael had gone to his father's house, and his father said a prayer to him. The prayer said, "Do not be overwhelmed by sudden terror." At this time, Michael was thinking about moving to Palestine, but he decided not to go because there were young kids at his house and his father was depressed. Since Michael was a mechanic, he was sent to work in an Air Force in Kiev. When the war broke out in 1941, he was in Kursk, and during this time, a messenger told his family that he had died, but he knew his father didn't believe it. During 1941, Michael was wounded, but not too bad. He had a slight hearing and vision loss, but he was healed in a hospital. During the fall of 1941, he and his group of about 1,000 people were sent to a training camp in Kursk. From there, they went to Kishtim Station and walked about 15 kilometers into the forest. In the forest, there was a group of Russians, and they abused them. They made them walk barefoot on the snow, and they were tasked to build a railroad to Kishtim. There were some Jews, and they kept the Jewish calendar. When Yom Kippur came, he decided to fast in honor of his family. At the camp, you were considered sick if you didn't eat, so Michael was sent to a nearby hospital and stayed there for 5 to 6 weeks. Once out, a commandeer asked him if he had family in Russia, because they were trying to get rid of him, but he said he didn't, so he stayed. During 1942, when the Germans neared Stalingrad, a telegram arrived at their camp. It said that they had to transfer all special forces to Chelyabinsk, so Michael was chosen to be transferred. From Chelyabinsk, there was word that they would be transferred to Moscow, but they rebelled and convinced the commandeer to transfer them to a Polish unit. Coincidentally, they were sent to Lvov. While at Lvov, Michael went to his old house and found nothing and nobody there. The year was 1944, and they were now being transferred to Lublin, and they went to Majdanek. He was then moved from Lublin to Krakow. It was February 1945, and he was recovering from a terrible fever, which easily could have killed him. After the war ended, he met his future wife in a hospital in Busko. A couple of Jews that were in the hospital decided to go to Israel, and Michael was planning to go with them. But at the last second, he decided to stay with his wife in Poland. He and his wife had a child in 1947, and after many years of looking for his job, thanks to a friend, he got an internship as an attorney, and he worked there for many years. The family remained a little Jewish, and his kid wasn't raised traditional and doesn't know any Yiddish or really anything about the religion. He only knows his identity is Jewish. Michael still lives in Poland until this day.